Here we are, people. Another great weekend, and we're live and direct. This is the new legal. I got Resident Gamer Zero in the building. I got Spawn 117 in the building. I got the Mighty Chat Pack in the building. We had to drop bombs. We're going to drop 2 bombs. And within this gamma radiation of green infusion, we're taking all the air out of the rooms. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Di-RRec Gaming. I've never seen anything like this in gaming history. I've never seen anything like this in gaming history. I mean, when you look at another brand, another gaming platform, and it literally puts its video games on a competition platform, and its video games outdo the rival platform's video games. I never thought I'd ever see a day like this. It takes courage, it takes boldness, it takes ego, it takes, what's the word I'm trying to think about it? It takes dominance, it takes a high self-esteem, it takes brilliance, genius. It's chess. It takes chess. You looking at what Xbox has done, and Xbox is literally going to change the way people think about gaming. The other funny part about this is how people are trying to downplay this, and it's not even working. You can't even downplay something that's successful. We're talking about major moves that has never been done in gaming history. And it's working, people. It's literally working. I mean, I don't even know how to properly explain this. But when you have a company who continually is ridiculed day in and day out. I mean, continually ridiculed day in and day out. It's to the point where you don't even know if you want to take this stuff seriously anymore. But I don't think anybody can deny that what was said the industry was going to go towards, it's happening. And Microsoft is making sure that everybody in the world sees it's happening. There's a change, there's a shift in the landscape. There is something literally happening, people, in the landscape. And there's nothing that anybody can do anything about it because Big Bank is out with the duffel bag. The landscape is changing. There's things that are having to change for the betterment of the gaming industry. Microsoft being a big tech company, it's able to make these adjustments for everybody. They're making the adjustments for everybody. The devs are loving it. Because listen, let's not sit here and act like we don't think that things change and we don't adapt to it. Let's take the NBA for an example. The NBA today is not the NBA of the 80s. It's not the NBA of the 90s. It's not the NBA of the early 2K. The NBA of today is the NBA of today. Rules change. The athletes have to make adjustments. The level of performance changes. The quality of the games change. In sports, rules always change. We need to change. And now, there's no turning back. Because the most funniest thing happened in a 5-year mid-chin cycle. While everybody else is declining, something happened with Xbox hardware, people. Something happened with Xbox hardware. I'm going to be jumping in and out. So when they're talking, I'm gonna be in that chat pad today, man. I wanna hang out in the chat pad today. I'm gonna be letting Resident cook today. He's got a lot on his mind. He's been hitting me up all throughout the week. And Rez, you've been on fire. This is gonna be your show today, man. You've been doing a good job, brother. Spar 117. We appreciate all your support. We appreciate the whole panels, all my brothers that come up on Di-RRec Gaming in the chat pad community as well. There's no mystery now, people. There's no mystery now to what's going on with Microsoft's moves with Xbox, and it's a beautiful thing if you're an Xbox fan. Games are just dropping, shadow dropping. New apps are being made for games. The rumors of Steam coming up on Xbox is beautiful. This whole conversation of gaming being smothered, being suffocated by the name Xbox is just a beautiful thing. We root for Xbox as Xbox fans because we know why we're Xbox fans. And right now we're getting close to our apex. We have this sense of new energy that's flowing within our community, and it's a great feeling, people. It's really a great feeling. It's good to see people out here enjoying their games. The Xbox Community Game Pass has paid off for you. If you're not a subscriber to Game Pass, you need to get to that because Game Pass has changed the landscape of services and it's changed the landscape of the word value in gaming. There's nothing in the gaming market that is gold tier like Game Pass. Game Pass is where you save your money. Gaming is an investment. Gaming is not a cheap sport. But us as gamers have never let prices deteriorate our passion. If you're a passionate gamer and you know what it takes to get these video games, you're going to get them. In the meantime, enjoy gaming. Welcome, everybody, to Di-RRec Gaming.
The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Before we begin, I'll do my outro ceremonies towards the end and give a proper thanks to everybody that may come in here that's never been here before and to those that have. I'll do that towards the end, but this one's very special. Introduction to my man Jizzle Gaming, the one behind the scenes that do my intros, that does my artwork. I just want to give a shout out to y'all. We're going to be changing this one up as well as we get closer to the future. We'll have a beautiful, beautiful introduction when we get word of the next Xbox, because it will be included into the title. We can't wait to do a new intro. The jam will always be the same. The jam is legendary. We'll never get rid of the jam. We will never get rid of the beat. We'll never get rid of the bass. That's always going to be here. We'll never get rid of the glass shatter. That's always going to be here. You won't have to worry about any of that. But we will be changing, doing another update on the intro. So I can't wait to see what he has in store for that. But in the meantime, people, we are here. Thank you for coming to Di-RRec Gaming. We are going to do what we are supposed to do. And by the laws of gaming, by the mighty courts of gaming, and under the mighty clouds of the gaming gods, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, the laws have been established in the gaming streets. Not everybody upholds to these sacred laws, but on Di-RRec Gaming, we have one job and one job to do, people. And that's to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us gaming. And now that we're here, now that we're rounded up, I got one question. Rez, I got a question. Spark 117. I got a question, chat pack.
Shoot.
How in the hell, how in the living hell did Xbox literally turn PlayStation into an Xbox? We're going to start there first. We're not even going to talk about this 8% increase yet. Nah, we ain't going to get to the fun part. We're going to talk about this right here. And all of this playing it off as if, oh, look, we're getting another game. All these games are either old and sacred, or you are getting what you already had as a third-party game. Nothing changes. We over here on Xbox land do not care what you think and what you do on another platform, because over here we are invested. We don't care because we already know what Sony said about y'all. Sony told the world that y'all don't buy brand new games. You don't buy new games, and you will never, ever, ever deceive the gaming streets again. Those days is over. It's so improved. And that's the worst era that could ever happen to the PlayStation community. We've been on this. So we've been playing chess. We've been moving our pieces on the board throughout these years. We've been making bold predictions that we knew was going to come into fruition. These wasn't predictions that we were shaky on. These clowns out here on Twitter X, man, they make people like me just laugh. Because there's one thing they're not good at doing. And we can prove it. If you want us to prove it, we can prove it. We're just trying to be nice. We don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. We want people to be out here and feel like what they say really matters. But I told y'all, there's an expiration date for everything. And I think it's been going on too long. So just like how people said Xbox is dead, nobody wants an Xbox. Or if Xbox puts their games anywhere else, there's no reason to buy an Xbox. You remember that started with the PC. Oh, Xbox putting their games on PC. So what's the point of me having an Xbox? Well, listen here. I thought y'all had PCs. So if you have PCs, why are you asking if a game is going to be on PlayStation 5? It can only mean two things, but we already know what one thing isn't up for grabs. That's because y'all don't have no high-end PCs. So we can X that out. We know y'all don't have no PCs. It was just for the fun and games. But now we're getting down to the beans and potatoes, right? We're getting down to the bottom of the bowl. And what we're finding out is PlayStation fans are blindly destroying the PlayStation brain. Because they move by thinking that everything that they do actually bothers the Xbox fan brain. I'm bouncing. Somebody, okay, you did it. Okay. They actually think that whatever they do bothers us. And they're looking and finding out the hard way that it doesn't. The Xbox community has been moving 25 years ago. It was moving 25 years ago. The Xbox community has never stopped, nor did it ever care about what anybody else was doing. This is a sacred community. This is a gaming community built from the ground up. And Gears of War Reloaded is going to prove that. There's going to be stacks and stacks and stacks of hilarious funerals for outsiders that enter Gears of War's community. It's going to be YouTube videos for the histories to tell all. All your favorite typers, all your favorite texters, just come on over to Reload. We're going to put all that talk to the test. And then we're going to record these sessions. And it's going to be hilarious. Because the streets are going to find out who's who. You're going to either accept these terms or cower it out. Because what has the legal been screaming for years? Gaming speaks for itself. It's a showcase, people. You're either doing it or you're not. Now, we're not saying, listen, if you ain't never played a game and you're new to a game and you're getting beat, of course you're going to get beat. We're not here to be unrealistic. We understand if you ain't never played a game, but there's a certain type of humbleness that comes required in that kind of field. There comes a humbleness. Hey, man, look, I'm here to answer the call, but I've never played Gears of War. I'm here to see what it's all about. I'm here to give it a try. You got to be humble. So how the hell, residents, did Xbox make PlayStation an Xbox, man?
It's brilliant, isn't it? Well, they had to find some way to expand their player base, right? And what better way to do that, especially when you've kind of hit your roof, and they've said it before, they know how many players they have on their ecosystem. They see their numbers aren't really going up in that direction they want to see, and with their strategy and wanting to have the ability for anybody to play anywhere on any device, they're going to need to expand beyond just the Xbox and the PC. So what other ways can they do that? Well, the obvious choices are to expand to other platforms, right? That's with like other streaming services like Boosteroid, GeForce Now, and then also now they're going to PlayStation, and they also are going to Switch. So they're following through with what their plan is, and their whole strategy for this whole new direction they're going. And by doing so, they're basically introducing these games to a player base where most players, don't on that platform. I'm not saying all of them, but there's a good chunk of PlayStation players that don't want to leave that platform and only play on that platform and maybe the Switch. So they don't usually have the Xbox as well. So they're going to be introduced to games either they're not familiar with, or maybe they're familiar with. They're more of the hardcore base. They never would have tried it before, right? Because it was on the other platform. But now that it's on PlayStation, they'll actually give it a try, right? And by doing that, they're basically convincing people to try their games, and they're getting into their games. They're getting interested with their games. They start talking to their friends about their games, where then the excitement and hype gets around. And what do you know? Shocker, they actually do like Xbox games. Oh, it's so funny, isn't it? All that cap, all the lies and misinformation, it was just all fraudulent, right? Because in the end, we see the evidence. And they basically turned, and they're going to turn the Nintendo into an Xbox too in some ways. This is all a part of their plan, what they've been trying to achieve. Because ideally they want to be in, I think what they say, like they want to get to eventually, like their ultimate goal is like 500 million subscribers, to Game Pass. So they know the only way they can achieve those numbers is by expanding. So this is how they turned it into a PlayStation, as Xbox kind of just took over with their games. And given now with the drought with the PlayStation lately, there hasn't been any first party. And, the only thing that they're really excited for right now is, a third party title that's, eventually going to come out later this year. And then they have to wait until basically, I think it was September, October for Ghost of Yotei. I mean, that's almost 10 months. And when you have that long of a drought with gamers, you're going to want to play games, right? You're not going to want to wait that time. And a lot of gamers, they get excited about new games that come, right? Even if they're older games. I mean, especially because it's, games from another platform, right? So I think that's the big draw too, as to why it's PlayStation players are getting, kind of tuned into Xbox and transforming into it, is because they're actually opening their eyes to see that they're actually good games, And they're kind of getting it for themselves. Sometimes you don't really wake up or see the other side of things, your perspective, unless you actually experience it sometimes. So that was, I think, another big thing as well, Famo. But this is going to change things. Really, it's for the good of Xbox. I mean, Phil said that they had to, in order for sustainability and for them to grow their business and to keep the content going and to explore more business acquisitions beyond ABK, they were going to need to do this. And it was a genius move. It was a smart move. I mean, we see it all the time now. Like, the proof is in the pudding. The hardware growth, I think, also has to contribute to that, because people are starting to get irritated or a little frustrated because of Sony's, lack of, events, shows, nothing to get hyped about. When they do have shows, it's games that aren't even theirs. I mean, they had a whole state of play dedicated to just Borderlands. I mean, and Borderlands is a great game, but that's not what people bought a PlayStation for.
Stop, Famo, don't do this. Stop.
So there's like the appeal is starting to get less and less, and it starts to collect dust, right? Because you're not really playing it, like you're not spending any time on it because of it. And sooner or later, people are going to start to turn their heads and say, hey, what about Xbox? They're getting this game on this month. They're getting this game the next month. Sometimes they're getting 2 games in 1 month, both AAAs, constantly coming at them. You see, they know about Game Pass, or they find out about Game Pass. They see the price. They see all those games that come included with that deal. I mean, that's going to be really hard for them to pass up. They're gonna start to turn their interest to Xbox because Sony's not giving them what they need, right? They're not giving them what they want. They're just kind of slowly giving them little pieces of carrot, little pieces of hay, just enough to get them by with third-party titles. And it's kind of starting to bite back on them, because the more this stuff happens, and especially with the more bad PR they've been getting, I mean, you saw recently they actually are ending their loyalty program to their fans, to their players. The Stars program is going away.
You mean? I mean,
they're getting rid of more and more of like the incentives to be a PlayStation customer, to be a PlayStation fan, because they're taking away everything. It's going to get to a point where people are going to get sick of it, and they're going to want to go to another platform. They might go to PC, but hey, like, at least they're going to start changing their interests and realizing that, like, Sony isn't the way to go. It's not a good platform, Famo.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I don't want you to stop cooking. Spawn, what were you going to say real quick?
For their payers.
Right. No, that's true. And guess what? That Star program, right? We're getting feedback from somebody. I don't know who that is.
They messed up, man. What happened to Warhammer not going on PS5?
Yeah, look, man, look.
They're not paying. They're just talking. That's all they do. Sony destroyed Bungie, where Microsoft grew Bungie. You see the difference between the two? Sony's destroying their studios. Not one of these Sony fanboys sitting there stepping up. They only complain, oh, lawsuit. Ain't shit happening in the lawsuit either. It's that's how it is. They are their own worst enemies, and they destroyed themselves within. Xbox is everywhere now. Like Sarah said, you're gonna see Xbox on every screen. How much more does one have to say for the other to understand? They still are in denial. They still are acting like a bunch of children sitting there. Haha, your game's coming here. I'm like, bro, we've already played this 10 times. You want to play? Now we don't crossplay. Then be quiet. You want to sit there and make fun of a game that's coming to you, and now you won't even dare go against me playing that game. So there you go. Xbox has taken over. We are the #1 leading platform in the world. Chart busting games, they're hitting charts. what last game of theirs hit charts? And when was it?
It's bad
Yeah,
off. Go ahead,
I
man.
think Sony too. What people don't fail to realize is they've taken a lot of gambles, especially now and before with Jim Ryan in live service games, because they've been throwing their hat in for
I
that
was
one
waiting on you to
big
speak on
shot.
that. Come
That
on with it.
one big shot, right? That one game that's going to be their next Call of Duty or their next big hitter where they can rely on it as a revenue stream to fund their other projects and keep the company sustainable. But they have not been able to do that. And they've already tried multiple times. They've had to cancel multiple live service games and they're losing all that money. There's no ROI on those investments. So they're getting to the point. I mean, they're struggling. They're fighting as long as they can, but it's going to get to the point where they're going to get really desperate. And when they get desperate, just like what you saw with Square Enix and with other companies who tried to go the exclusive route, they're going to have to start releasing their games on more platforms. I mean, we're already seeing it now. They're doing it on PC. They've already started a little bit on Switch, with Lego Horizon. And they've already hinted at this is going to be the case. But I just think they're going to go even a step further and release them on Xbox, because they're just going to get to a point where they're going to need some sort of money to return outside of the PC ports, because I mean, their games are doing better on PC than they are on PlayStation 5, but is that enough of revenue in order for them to sustain the business and keep going? I don't think so. So they're definitely have to come up with more creative ways. I mean, they've already tried, and they're doing basically the remake remaster strategy to try to garnish more revenue there. So what other choices do they have, right? Like, there isn't any other choices.
No, you're
they've
right.
already invested $3.6 billion into Bungie, and they still haven't paid them off yet. So
damn,
they're all the money that they're basically gaining per quarter is basically paying off that acquisition on top of just keeping them above the red. I mean, I know they're not in the negative, but if they continue on and they keep losing as much money as they are with all these failures, I mean, and they're feeling shaky right now, especially after the reset. I know they're paying attention, especially after the reception of Fair Games and Marathon. If both of those games fail, like I said, I think we're going to get to a very desperate Sony, where they're going to be making moves that people would never
thought of in their life.
And somebody on Twitter,
come on with it, speak on
somebody said that the PlayStation of old, you're not going to recognize the PlayStation of new. Basically, is what they said.
The PlayStation of old is done. We've been said that on here. Look, people, listen.
No, I meant like what I was getting to my previous point. Yeah,
PlayStation is turning into a flea market. Okay, that's what we used to call it. It's a flea market description, right? And it's not to be funny. It's if you gotta understand what flea markets do, right? To understand why we called it that, because that's what it's going to become. And Microsoft is already showing you that it's not scared. Look, the reason why I like Microsoft, man, because it's risky when it comes to Xbox. And I've already knew throughout these years that Xbox wasn't going to go anywhere, right? But I was over cocky. I was really over cocky because I didn't really realize just how much in 2013, that they really blew the gaskets off for Xbox and messed it up so bad that Microsoft was really looking at, is it a good investment to continue on with Xbox at the rate that we're going with it? So the good thing is that Phil Spencer convinced Satya that they just needed somebody in the leadership role that cared about Xbox, that wasn't solely tied to just not understanding the gaming culture. We do get that Phil Spencer is from the PC culture. We get that. And we do understand that he's not 100% into the console culture of wars and going at each other for the fun of it. The problem is you have a lot of jerks and idiots and lames that made console wars toxic. Just like you can make anything good toxic. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you didn't get a chance to live in that era that I did, when console wars was a beautiful thing. It was fun, and it was very competitive, and nobody took things this serious like you see today. That's why I've always said this is not console wars. This is just being stupid, right? So unfortunately, the new generation never really is going to get that feel of what it really truly was to have console wars, because console wars are harmless, people. I just wanted to let y'all know that. It is not bad. It's not toxic. It's just when you got the wrong people. I just put it like this. It's not just the wrong people, but you got people who are not really gamers. You made social media, you made YouTube more famous than just gaming, and that was this generation's failure. That's not my generational failure. This generation has got to own that up, that you guys put more emphasis on YouTubers and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with the broadcasters, like on Twitch and other gaming platforms like that, because they're playing games. If you're one of those people that just sit and watch other people play games, in my era as a kid, you was at the back of the line. That's who you was. So you was never a person that contributed to actual showcasing in gaming. You was never one of that. So if you're not one that's actually buying these games, right? This is why Twitch had to be created, because they saw that there was another audience that was growing too big that really don't play these games. They just like to look at these people play video games like they're sitcoms or series shows, movies. They literally don't even play games. They just want to watch other people play games. That's kind of weirdo shit, but it's real. It is a community of watchers. And I'm glad that Sarah Bond even brought that up. There's a real community of watchers. So let's not just make them watch. Let's cash in on them as well. So you got platforms like Twitch today that exist because they're cashing in on those watchers. Then we had the era where the females came in and they want to dress all provocative. And then they found out that, hey, most of my viewers are just here to look at me. So then they downgraded gaming, because now people aren't even there to watch you play a video game. They're just there to look and see what kind of top you got on, or what kind of shorts you got on, or how your hair looks today. Because in reality, they can't get no girlfriends and stuff. They can't get phone numbers from females. So you're the closest thing to them. And that messed up gaming for a while. We saw it. We saw the bans. We saw people get kicked off of Twitch. We saw all this stuff. It's because that's putting things before gaming. And it made gaming unhealthy. It made the industry go down. You got devs that are lacking creativity. We don't have the nostalgia games anymore. I've been screaming it. Where's our Castlevania games at? You know what I'm saying? We finally getting Ninja Gaiden back. We're finally getting some of the Shinobis back. We're finally going to get some Golden Axes back. You need those types of games. Those games that are, I call those passed down generational games. They never get old. They're here to keep people in check that, hey, listen, these games are timeless and these games are great. They're like the history pillar games that we need them out. That's why people are yelling for Splinter Cell now. We need a Splinter Cell. People of this generation needs to know what a great Splinter Cell game is. This is why Doom is doing so good. Doom's been out since what, the late night? Like, I think it was in development since 1989, came out in the early 90s. I mean, this game is iconic and it keeps improving because we as gamers been saying this for a long time. You never really have to change the whole dynamics of a game. All you need to do is change a little bit of the aspects of the game. So why is Doom of Dark Ages doing so good, right? Doom Dark Ages is just blowing things out of the water right now as far as the franchise series. Because somebody took 2 or 3 more seconds of thought and created the shield aspect of the game and the gauntlet aspect of the game. When Doom was just a third-person blast the demons away type game. Now you can use your shield. Now you can run them like Thanos and hit somebody with your fist. And then they upgrade that. You can use a mace. You know, you can use all kind of weapons now when that wasn't in Doom. That's how you do it. And you don't take away from the original core that made the game great in the first place. When there's some developers that get it, and then there's just some developers that don't because they're shaky, they're worrying too much. If your game was fantastic, then understand why your game is fantastic. And when you are going to make sequels, you don't really have to change much of anything because there's a reason why your game is fantastic to gamers, because they simply love what it is. You change up little aspects of it and keep it moving. You will always be successful. You start changing your video game drastic, and you're going to have your video gamers making drastic decisions. They may not like it anymore because now they can't relate to it. You don't went too far off. Keep things close, make little subtle changes, and keep it moving. That way you can stretch it for years and years and years to come. So if we haven't learned anything, we learned something from Doom Dark Ages. And shouts to that game because that's the game that I wanted to peg my 200,000 gamer score on. So I'm giving it a lot of attention. I'm giving it a lot of respect. But you guys are absolutely correct. There's things that are happening with PlayStation that I warned everybody about. You got these cornballs out here, right, that do not want to admit that Xbox has literally made mockery at everybody who made fun of it. Even with its 5 studios, when Microsoft had nothing but 5 studios, we're going to put some respect on Microsoft for a minute. With 5 studios, they've done more to what 5 games that Sony has done with their whole entire library. Well, what do you mean, legal? What do you mean? Bro, PlayStation doesn't have a game like Halo. PlayStation doesn't have a game like Gears of War. PlayStation doesn't have a game like Forza Horizon. PlayStation don't have Perfect Darks. PlayStation doesn't have Fables. There are no strong pillars on PlayStation land. There's none. The only historical game that PlayStation has is Gran Turismo. And you want to know what hurts Gran Turismo, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, is that nobody talks about it. See, that's how you know there's no ventilation. There is no more circulation in the PlayStation brand. I told y'all this day was going to come because don't look at legal. I've been telling y'all, don't look at legal. I'm an Xbox fan. I have nothing to do with the demise of PlayStation. Absolutely nothing. All the bad press, all the games that are getting shut down, people leaving, people reporting that it's toxic environment in Sony land. Legal has nothing to do with that. But every single one of y'all and I told y'all, even some of my closest friends, I told y'all, stop playing with me when it comes to, I just like gaming and I buy these consoles. Stop playing with me with that. Because that doesn't make you a gamer. That has nothing to do with defining you as a gamer. Having multiple of nothings has never been the defining description of what a gamer is. This is why Microsoft can make an ad saying we're defining what an Xbox gamer is. Because Microsoft understands what gaming is. Gaming is wherever you're playing at. So guess what? If I have a tablet and I'm playing my video games, only on that tablet, I'm a gamer. If I'm on that PC playing on my 27-inch screen and that's all I do, I'm a gamer. If you're on the PlayStation, you're a gamer. If you're on Nintendo, you're a gamer. If you're on your Xbox, you're a gamer. Or if you just open up on your LG screen like I do and open up Cloud and I can just play my Xbox from my LG because my LG is an Xbox. But guess what? Guess what? Nobody's going to tell me I'm not a gamer just because I only play on Xbox. That's what the message was. And some of y'all fell into that dumb trap. Y'all sat up here and thought that, oh, let me get this console, let me get this console, so I can just fit in. Well, let me tell y'all something about the new legal. New legal don't fit in. I stand out. I don't need to fit in nowhere. I do what I want to do. And why would you feel like fitting in with a group of people who don't even put in work? That's on you. And now today, the very thing that you got sitting up collecting dust, right? Look at you. Look at y'all. So-called centaurs out here, because you don't want to be known that you're not a gamer. You're ashamed to just be a console owner of an Xbox. That belittles you. That makes you feel belittled. You lose self-esteem. So you'll just go out there and buy a PlayStation and you don't even play it. So tell me, if you buy a PlayStation and you don't even play it, what the hell are you doing for PlayStation? I got the answer. Absolutely nothing. You are part of the problem. And you sitting around looking around. We're looking at you. Some of y'all are my closest friends. I'm looking at y'all like, damn, what are you playing over there? You bought the PlayStation. I don't hear anything from you anymore. You bought it. And I'm sitting up here looking at all this bad news. So you're just like these donkeys out here. Except for you're quieter. You bring no value to PlayStation. I told y'all, y'all can buy the whole outfit of PlayStation. It's not going to save you this generation because y'all are a fan base worldwide, not just in the United States, worldwide. The PlayStation fan base worldwide are just talkers. And sooner or later, residents, it just took time, but I predicted it. I said in the 5th year, we're going to witness this. In the 5th year, everything starts crumbling. All wheels. I told you, I went from each year was a wheel. Each year was one wheel. And I said, they're going to get to that 5th year and they're literally going to give me they're literally going to do this, right? They ain't literally going to sit up here and keep playing it off like you don't listen to the little voices out here. It's funny. It's funny because when some of these people thought that the new legals game and tag account from Twitter got banned or suspended from donkeys, you drank the sucker juice. Don't be surprised when that account comes back and you wonder what happened. I'm not going to say nothing to it. Just know there was not one donkey that was the reason for that. Not one. So don't even pay attention to that. All right? But to see the celebration, just proves my impact to the donkey community. Look at all these heads I got up on my wall. It's not enough room. It's not enough room. So don't sit here and think that voices wasn't heard. The impact wasn't there. Because I saw those tears of joy and it made me feel good. That made me feel good. That was a victory day for me. And now, look at them. They literally burnt the engine up. They can't go anywhere. And what did I tell them? I said, I'm going to say it now before they get all this late news later by these wannabe news anchors. I'm going to tell them right now. Big beat money, I'm going to tell them right now what I said a couple years ago. Before, what's his name? David Jaffe said it. And that's when I knew I was right, like I've always said. PlayStation isn't going to go forward until the PlayStation community learns how to build one. Until the PlayStation community learns how to actually build a community. Because see, what did they brag about all these years? Single player, the single player experience is the best experience in gaming. I just like the single player experience. Look, all these years, they just been by themselves. They're the kings of the low level. PlayStation platform is the king of the low level gaming. Brown trophies rule in the PlayStation world. the Brown Trophy rules, okay? When I dissected the news on who's different when it comes to these services, and the shame on you for having a PlayStation Plus service that's been out since 2010. You was out 7 years before Game Pass. You had a 7-year head start on Game Pass. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to let y'all know today, right, that nobody talks about PlayStation Plus. Nobody. PlayStation Plus doesn't even get mentioned. To credit Resident's lecture before mine. This is why PlayStation stopped talking about it. Because they saw that the majority of their gamers put their money into the lowest tier. Into the lowest. They don't pay for premium. Only like 8% do that. And it's probably less now. But over here on Game Pass, 80% of its subscribers are Ultimate. We're not the same. Stop believing. Stop letting the PlayStation community that I've told you, Xbox community, for years ago. We are outnumbered when you come up to social media. You are outnumbered. You don't grow your channel dealing with the Xbox community. There ain't nobody. You show me a YouTube channel that's a hardcore only Xbox channel and it ain't nothing but Xbox fans on it. You can't show me one. You can't show me one, because the truth of the matter is the Xbox community of gamers are not on social media. They're on their consoles or wherever they playing their Xbox games at. If you come on social media, I've already proved this. This show's about this. You can go on YouTube right now and type in Xbox, look at the subscriber count. It's like 5 million and something change. Okay? You type in PlayStation, it's 15 million some change. It's 3-1. We're not winning the war on social media. So stop trying to. You got to come out here and play chess. You can't come out here trying to soldier up. You're going to lose that battle. You letting donkeys come up here and make posts and get you upset. Shame on you. Don't you understand that the PlayStation community, they play their best game, and it's called social media. They don't play video games. And that's why today we are doing this show with all of its glory, to remind the great, awesome Xbox community just who the hell you are. Because sometimes, in the words of the great realist one, you forget why you are an Xbox gamer. You get clouded because everywhere you go, and I know, and everywhere you see bad press on Xbox, and you see these corporate centaur media fan base that just uses Xbox for another platform source to get clicks and baits to keep the lights on. That's all they use Xbox for. And I've also been upset with Microsoft. I don't always like what Microsoft does. They tit for tat because they're so far off that they don't even understand that they've been infected. Some of us been trying to tell them for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. And we went through that bullshit on Twitter X, watching the meltdown happen for 72 hours. You saw who was standing by Xbox and who wasn't. They showed their faces. For Microsoft to sit there and play that off, shame on you. These people bring no value to your gaming brand. You look at all these people in the media sources, they bring no value to Xbox. Absolutely no value at all. You Xbox fans do. You gamers do. Xbox is growing because Xbox fans in the world are telling people about Game Pass. What do we think this is? This stuff ain't stopped. How do you think good news of video games ever happened before in the past? It happened because we were at school talking about our experiences. That's how. Word get out about Game Pass. People start asking questions, man. Gamers are telling them. It ain't the PR division. What are we talking about here? It's not the PR division. My man, Smitty Smith in the building. That's my brother from another mother. The only person on God's green earth that gave me a second edition book of the Book of X. The sole owner of the original copy, Smitty Smith in the building. And I have to read this in Smitty Smith fashion. Let's go, X League. Actually, legal. PS does have a perfect dark. A perfectly dark roadmap. The Book of X. That fool is stupid, boy. You gotta love it. You got to love it, people. There's nothing that these dummies can do but do nothing but talk and give you no reality source effects in real time. All they can do is give you a channel and talk. They will never tell you what the truth is. They're never going to tell you the end game because they themselves don't uphold to what they speak about. All these people talking on PlayStation do nothing for it. Do nothing for it. The Xbox community is gaming. And we're going to get to that one because we got the facts that it is. And we also got the facts that the Xbox brand as a console is growing. That's the biggest shock on here. It's growing. We're going to leave that one up. Until somebody beats that comment right there is going to stay up. Because PlayStation has no games. And listen, like I said to everybody that's sensitive out here, we're just talking gaming, people. We're doing nothing more than what people do. No more harm than these dumbass tweets that you see that nobody makes sense on. We're doing no more damage. Stop being so sensitive. These video game consoles don't have souls. They don't have a life. They don't go to work, okay? These things aren't human beings. There's no blood source in these consoles. So stop being so emotionally attached when we are talking about these consoles, okay? But PlayStation fans, you failed your platform. And I knew that you was going to fail it because they all gonna fail you. I said it as my greatest emoji of Mumra that I could say it. And then they still laughed. But I didn't laugh. I kept a straight face when I was saying all this stuff, Smitty Smith. I didn't laugh. I just said, watch and see who's telling the lie then. There's somebody lying. We're going to find out if it's the new legal or the whole entire donkey community. And guess what happened? The whole entire donkey community just got wiped out. The new legal still standing. Moving forward with the Xbox community. They thought we were going to lose our minds because some Xbox games are going on PlayStation's platform. Well, we can add, that's 70%. The donkeys the ones that couldn't add. Okay? They give you another dose of round. They give you another shot of that tequila. Now they taking over your console. So what do you think the third round is going to be, people? See what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? And what do you think the next round is going to be? And what do you think the next round is going to be? The new legal is going to tell you. Gaming media ain't going to tell you this. because it hurts too much. Oh, it's a console war. This ain't a console war. It's going to lead to PlayStation being a storefront, like the realest one told y'all 3 years ago. I got to give my flowers where my flowers belong to. I'm not going to take the credit of that. The realest told y'all got mad at him. Y'all hurt that man. He called me up, man. What's wrong with the Xbox community, man? Don't they not like the truth? I'm just telling them the truth. They mad at me for telling them the truth. I said, that's all right, man. Let them poop their diaper. They'll change and then they'll come back. They'll be all right.
Yeah, once they see cry in the car.
Right. Once they start to see that all of this stuff is a form of strength, not a form of weakness. It's a form of strength, because what nobody wanted to admit to people, and we just got to be truthful, is that the gaming industry wasn't healthy anymore. They played the console war till the rubber started to lose tread. Put it like that. Phil understood he had the big bank. He knew he couldn't depend on Nintendo or Sony to tell the truth. They're not going to do that. They're not going to come out and tell you what's going on, because they don't have the resources nor the capacity as a big tech company to make the drastic changes and rearrange the landscape of gaming. We already know what Nintendo's going to give you. They're going to give you the Sesame Street game. We already know what the PlayStation brand's going to give you. They're going to give you the cinematic movie experience in gaming. But Microsoft is going to give you what's everlasting in gaming. And that's community, culture, and what, people? Cloud. Those three things ain't going nowhere. Do you not understand those three things are moving forward? This is why our top-notch games still have their multiplayers to them. PlayStation does not have multiplayer games. What are we doing out here? What are we doing out here, people? Who you think you was fooling? Xbox got over 20-some years of multiplayer online game experience. Look. Microsoft is the only platform that has superior backwards compatibility capabilities. Nintendo can't give you that. PlayStation can't give you that. What are we doing out here, people? Who's fooling who out here? What are we talking about? Seriously, what are we talking about? When Microsoft bought Minecraft, nobody understood why they bought them. You do now. You do now. Because Epic made Fortnite, and it was the biggest accident that ever happened in gaming history. They didn't realize what Fortnite was going to be when they created Fortnite. It wasn't even a PvP game. And then Apex comes later. PUBG. It affected the industry so much that Nintendo got what? Animal Crossing. Think about it. Animal Crossing. You can't make this stuff up. And Pokemon. Nintendo know what's up. They can't even get Pokemon to run smooth. Y'all talking about Nintendo out here.
They need to do water.
Man down, man down. But look, who we kidding out here, right? You can't even get them to run their games right. But over here on Microsoft side of things, they transformed Xbox Live. They transformed it into Game Pass. And ain't looked back yet. You got games coming over on PC. And the PlayStation community is crying about that. Bro, go play Black Myth Wukong. Shut the hell up. You got a game that Xbox fans don't have, and y'all ain't play it. Because you know why? It's too hard for y'all. We know what it is. We know why that game blew up on PC and not on your console. Because the game is too hard for y'all. Y'all don't play video games like that. So let's get to it, residents. You ready to get to it, my friend? Let's get to it, Spar 117. How do we know they don't play new games? The Mighty Chat Pack know because they mentioned Concord. They bitching and complaining about Marathon. They already bitching and complaining about it, and they got the nerve. They got the audacity to say, why is Sony making these type of games? We ain't asked for these games. So tell me, PlayStation community, what the fuck kind of games you asking for? Because we don't see it. Nobody sees what the fuck you asking for. So what are you talking about?
Can't be the movie games because they don't play those either.
Right, and it can't. And let's be for real. What you just said. Let's double down on it. It can't be those movie games because that's not what's making Sony the money. So what the fuck kind of game is you asking for? You ain't asking for shit. You better learn how to play some live service games, bitch. That's what you better learn how to play if you want to see your damn mighty PlayStation brand be something and a few little dollars in change on the side of the road as the future of gaming goes forward. You better hope, because you're going to see it in this generation before it ends, that PlayStation can't hold its weight no more. You're going to witness that this generation. You better get out there and fake it. You better, like you said, you better get out there and trick, girl. You better get out there and run track. Pull your skirt up. You better fake it to make it. You better go do what you do best. Y'all got them. Do like KGN does. Go buy them games and put them up on the shelf. Pretend that you playing all them damn games. But you better go buy them. You better buy them. Because if you don't buy them, you ain't going to be doing shit for PlayStation. You want these games to be free? You got at least you got to start somewhere. PlayStation brand is in critical condition because of you lames. Y'all do nothing but talk. You do nothing but talk. And now it's showing that y'all do nothing but talk. Marathon has to come at $40 at y'all. And it ain't look what they did to Marathon. And then the little excuses as well, it's Bungie. They make third, they gonna make third, but okay, whatever, give that to you. So let's see if y'all buy that game. Because listen, we definitely over here on Xbox didn't ask for that shit. We ain't gotta go buy it. It ain't our problem. We got great, outstanding games to play. We don't need to play Marathon. Marathon isn't our metric to success. But let me tell you what it is for you. It is. Now let Marathon fail. Let it fail. Let's see then who's talking what. Let it fail. Let you go out here and not buy that game. And all hell's gonna break loose in the PlayStation fan base community. Watch. You just watch. Y'all ain't buying video games. Then now we're gonna really get to it. You thought you was gonna make Xbox look weak all these years. But something fabulous happened in the Xbox One generation. As crazy as that generation was for an Xbox fan, 60 million people bought an Xbox. 60. You can't make this shit up. 60. So that means Xbox lost roughly 27 million people, at the most 28. They went somewhere, whether they went PC, Nintendo, or PlayStation, they went somewhere, but they never came back. They went somewhere, people. Here we are today with a total of 60 million between Xbox One, right? We got 60 million owners there. But we have about 35 million Xbox Series S and X sales, right? And here's the funny part. The rumor has it that Game Pass surpassed 50 million subscribers. That's the rumor. But let me tell you what isn't a rumor. 8% of the Xbox hardware, the very thing that these donkeys chanted about, had bonfires about, they had voodoo dolls and everything about. They ran around with raw pork chops tied around their bodies, right? They had beef patties on the bottom of their shoes, cucumbers on their eyes, lipstick on their lips, running around, talking about nobody likes Xbox, nobody buys an Xbox no more. Xbox is dead. Xbox started putting their games on PlayStation. That's it. I don't know what's wrong with Microsoft. You had Crybaby Gamer out here. Fire Phil Spencer. Fire Phil Spencer. Look how dumb you look today. You look extra super dumb today than you did just a week ago. You look dumb 10 years ago. You've always looked dumb. But today, you're like a nice batch of KFC chicken, like extra crispy dumb. You're like an original crispy, extra crispy dumb. Today, Crybaby Gamer. You look so dumb today, it will make a movie. Somebody could literally make a movie about your dumbness and it'll be a top view watch. It would. It'd be the #1 watch sitcom. If somebody made a movie about Crybaby Gamer, it'd be the funniest shit ever in gaming history. Because the dude's got one thing good about him. He can sure make himself look dumb. I ain't gonna lie about that now. He can make himself look dumb. But just look how dumb you look. The other one goes to the other super dummy. I don't know what the hell. This dude's name is just hilarious. But y'all know, I don't even want. It's sad. It's sad. What are we doing out here? What are we doing out here, Xbox community, man? You know, you need to be vacating somewhere in the world, man. You be enjoying some grandchildren or something. But you up on social media telling people that Xbox is going bankrupt. You can't be this damn stupid. People, we can't. What are we doing out here?
Come on, man. Seriously.
I mean,
Is it
what
that
are we doing
Warhammer
out
Day,
here?
dude?
Look how extra crispy dumb you look today. Because in the 5th year, not the 3rd, not the 2nd, because those are peak years. The 3rd year is like usually the highest peak year between the 3rd, between 2.5 years to 3.5 years are peak years. Peak years for a brand. And we're in the 5th year. And Xbox hardware grew 8%. You can't make this shit up. Rez, what the hell happened, bro? I thought nobody was going to buy an Xbox. But then you went on Amazon, you saw it was the #1 seller. You was like, what? I'm like, what? The #1 seller? It's like Resident said. Because people are starting to find out that the drought is real on PlayStation. Their games suck. Look, their games suck, bro. This ain't console wars. Their games suck. All right? That's just the truth. Nobody's excited about Ghost of Yote. How do we know, Legal? Because nobody's talking about it. That's how. Look at the PlayStation community. They're not talking about it. Look at them. How many of them did you see play and go out and buy Assassin's Creed Shadows and display that game on Twitter X? From the donkeys. You ain't see a lot of them. And you believe that they're going to go out and buy Ghost of Yote? You think that? You think that? They're trying to wait around for the next Xbox to drop. The next Xbox game to drop on PlayStation so they can say, oh, look. But I think that's about to run its course too. I think Resident and I think Spawn 117 and I think Chat Pack that they're finally getting it. they're pulling back. They're holding them horses and they're saying, wait a minute. Hold on. Xbox just grew 8%. So, residents, tell me, how does a console do something that's never been done in console history? Put their games on another platform, take it over, and then their hardware grows 8%. Talk to me, Rez.
We've never had these kind of factors before in the gaming industry, right? We've never had a subscription service with the value proposition that Game Pass offers, right? Like that many top quality games for one small price. And then you've got the competitors who continue to increase the prices of their games and their hardware. So it basically creates a higher barrier of entry for not existing players, but for new players. And anybody who still is investing in video games, you know, who are on a budget or who can't afford to buy multiple games are going to be even more incentivized to get an Xbox, to get into the ecosystem, because it's just so much better, better deal, better value. I mean, and you're getting the quality you want, you're getting the variety you want. Xbox is offering so many different things right now on top of, also PlayStation losing. We just talked about the reward system. Like all these little things add up, and people are starting to see, okay, maybe Xbox isn't so bad after all. And considering, what they're dealing with, they're going to opt to go with Xbox. And I think that's why we're seeing that increase. And also the drought, I think, is another factor. And then the price increases as well, with, the rumors that's been going around that, and Sony even hinted at, that prices are going to go up again. So people see that and they just get that more of a sour taste in their mouth, right? Where they just get to the point where they're like, man, fucks, F Sony, I don't want to keep giving them money. And like on top of it, the games that they're releasing, they're usually not finished, or they're rushed, or they're buggy, or they're not polished. All these problems they're having with a lot of their game releases lately. People get really turned off by all of those things, and it gets to a point that even if you're a big fan of PlayStation, you just kind of you lose that little bit of what you liked about them, like more and more, to the point where you start to say, maybe I'm going to start going to the other side, or I'm going to try out Xbox instead. And Game Pass is definitely a huge incentive, and people are, I mean, it's kind of hard to turn away, right? Given what you're getting for the service. Especially when people are trying to be fiscally responsible right now with everything going up in pricing, this is like the best kind of market for Xbox, because, people are going to want to spend less, and this is a huge win for them. This has never happened before because all of these conditions exist. And I think it was also a good move by them not to increase the price of Game Pass. I think they need to keep it the same price for a while. They need to pull more people in. They need to continue delivering their AAA experiences on top of the shadow drops. I mean, they're killing it right now. All their news, like the news about the Steam integration, people are really getting excited about that. And I think that's a huge deal too, because that's turning on a lot of PC players, who normally wouldn't get an Xbox, but because of the Steam integration, I've seen people talk about it already online that they want to get one now. So there's definitely a lot of good reasons to go to the platform right now. And I think that's why we're seeing this hardware increase in terms of like sales. So this is great for Xbox. I mean, this has never happened before. Even the Switch has never done this. So you could definitely tell that people are paying attention, that they see the strengths that Xbox has and what they provide. And if Xbox continues down this direction, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another increase for the next quarter. Because don't know if you saw, but there were a lot of people pointing out on social media that there were quite a few retailers that were sold out for the Xbox, even with the price increase. It's just like I said, you know, Game Pass is going to get to a point where it's going to be undeniable. It's going to be like Netflix, where everybody wants it or needs it.
Speak on it.
I'm telling you,
Speak on it.
Microsoft is doing something that's just unheard of. They're in untested waters right now, and a lot of what they're doing is paying off. So if they continue this way and continue with their game platform integration, and they keep working on their PC storefront, which also, by the way, they've made massive leaps and strides in improving the interface for PC players. And I've noticed as well, a couple people mentioned online that their experience with the Xbox PC app has been much better lately. So they're definitely going in the right direction in many different ways. And I anticipate the hardware going up again next quarter. But Xbox is killing it right now, and they just, I don't see them really messing up right now. They're just killing it, and people are really excited about the handheld, like especially if it ends up doing what the rumors say it's going to do. It's going to be, just imagine, Famo, a Switch version of an Xbox handheld where it's dockable, 4K docked, 1440 or something like that, undocked. It's going to have, you know, similar power to maybe a Rogue Ally or
Famo,
or the Claw.
Can you imagine Microsoft doing what they do best, right?
Man.
Here's what Microsoft does best. They give you tiers, right? So can you imagine 3 handhelds of Xbox One, where, you know, just for the casual person who's not really, what I mean by that is he's going to just play like Call of Duties and stuff on it. Maybe a Call of Duty Fortnite. He might do a Minecraft, but that's all he's going to do. So for that one, you know, the memory's low. The resolution isn't that great. The performance is going to be good, but as far as all the other aspects, it's going to be kind of low. The price is going to be low, and you're going to be happy to buy that because you got other resources to your other games, and all you just want is your mobility on the games that you play all the time, right? Then you got the medium price one, where they're kind of like in the middle. You know what I'm saying? They want the quality. So the quality gamer, he wants the resolution, he wants performance, he wants the libraries. But you know, I just want my Game Pass games. I just want to subscribe to Game Pass because, you know what I'm saying, I'm this other person that I like the other platform, whether it's Nintendo or PlayStation, but I don't really want to buy an Xbox console. But Game Pass is just too much, too hard to resist. It's just gold tier service. So I just want that handheld, and I want to be able to play some Xbox games when I want to on the go. Then you're gonna have the true Xbox fan, that high quality gamer that wants everything. They want the level T. They want the Steam Decks. They want the apps. They want the Windows PC experience. They want all of that stuff, right? And they don't want to fray from that. They want everything. And they're the performance gamers. So they like Red said, they want that 120 hertz or above that, maybe 144 hertz. Who knows? We're talking about Microsoft now. 4K or 1440p, because we're talking about a handheld still. And so 1440p is more realistic. We're a realistic show. 1440p, and we're talking about the high end. I'm not talking about just the ordinary handheld, but we're talking about the high end. It's gonna have your account on it. It's not just gonna have your account on it, but it's gonna have all your Xbox library games that you've paid for. Backwards compatibility. Just about everything that your console has, it's gonna have. You're gonna be able to have accessibility to it. Why? Because Microsoft has that Azure cloud, and that's a bad boy. And all your achievements and everything's going to happen simultaneously. Everything's recorded. Your gaming experience is there, and it's on the go. Imagine, residents. Imagine that. Xbox gamers get a handheld, basically Xbox console in their hand. And with this next Xbox being a PC hybrid console, this is the beauty of Xbox. That's really the true form of the Xbox. It's supposed to be like that. One day, G-Man is walking down the street and he's playing God of War on his Xbox. And they're wondering how's he doing it. He said, because I got an Xbox. Oh, you remember just like how I showed y'all how I can play Black Myth Wukong on my Xbox? Well, it's possible, ladies and gentlemen, and I did it. You just got to know how to be an Xbox fan. That's all, and you'll be able to do it too. Keep going, Rez. Keep cooking.
I don't have too much more to add. I just think that a lot of things are going in Xbox's favor right now in terms of the market condition, the price increases with the competitors, the lack of games or attention, I should say, or customer or player engagement that Sony's offering right now with their games. People are kind of turned down to a Switch 1, waiting for Switch 2. So it's like the perfect time right now for Xbox to be appealing and to drive interest in their ecosystem to players and new players. So and everything they've been doing lately, word of mouth gets around. I mean, these shadow drops, they're amazing. No one else does them. That's very appealing. They have a lot of showcases, a lot of games to look forward to every time. Like, that's why they're in the news constantly. Everybody talks about Xbox because they have so much going on. They never really get dry. You know, they're constantly have heavy hitters coming at us. And then now they're bringing back they're bringing the retro games. They're bringing the Activision games like they said they would. You know, they're going to start with the retro titles, and then they're going to move up and start releasing the more recent titles. You know, the brand franchises. You know, Transformers, Spider-Man. A lot of those old licenses. They're going to bring a lot of those games back, and they said there's more to come. So we're only getting a small taste. And that's a great way to start. I mean, you're getting all those 50 games on top of the Game Pass library, which I think is like around 300 to 400.
Right.
So that's that's about 400 games for $20. I mean, you can't tell me you're a gamer if that doesn't sound appealing to you at all. Like, because come on, I mean, that's crazy. Like, if just imagine you had a digital store like a Blockbuster or a Best Buy, and it was just you, and you go into this store and everything is racks upon racks of games, and all of those games are essentially free. You're paying upfront the price of a quarter of a game, of a AAA game, to be able to play dozens of AAA games in indies and AA and multiplayer just at your fingertips. I mean, that's a big deal. And I think they need to continue delivering on Game Pass, because that's the big draw now that they're releasing their games on other platforms with their strategy. They need to continue delivering their consistent content, good content. They need to keep expanding upon their services, their reward system, make it appealing in so many different ways that, you know, they're gonna drive a lot of customer interest. So that's why I foresee, and I was saying before that I might even wouldn't be surprised if their hardware increases again next quarter, because, like I said, they got the best value out there still, because, you know, Switch is going to be charging more for their games. Microsoft is not going to start charging $80 for their games until later this year or next year. But you don't need to worry about that if you have Game Pass, right? And not everybody wants to own all of their games. You know, that fraction or that pie of the player base who want to own every single game is getting smaller and smaller. A lot of people are completely okay with streaming or renting their games. It doesn't bother them. You know, they don't need to own them because a lot of people, they beat them and they move on, right? They don't keep going back to those same experiences. So why would you spend $80 or $70 or $60 when you can just buy a Game Pass, play the game, finish it, move on to the next one, and you're getting your value already because you've already paid, you've already bought and played. You've already played something that's more than what you put into the service. So that's already a plus. So even by the next game, you're already getting your money's worth. And I think the way that Sony's been flopping lately has been a real big win for Microsoft as well, so they can capitalize on it. And this showcase is going to be huge. I think this is going to be probably this next quarter, where it includes June. The showcase, I think, is probably going to be their most successful quarter, especially if they deliver on the showcase. Like, there's been rumors they're going to. Apparently, there's supposedly going to be 6 to 7 titles that are world premieres that have not been announced. So that on top of their usual schedule, that showcase, if that blows out of the water, I think that's going to drive even more people to buy their hardware and their service. So all in all, it's a good thing. It's a sign that their strategy is working and people are seeing the value proposition of Xbox.
Man, you know what? You just said something that's really remarkable when you talk about this showcase. And I want to let everybody know right now, listen, this is going to be their most versatile showcase as far as a business. They're not only going to just represent Game Pass, they're not only going to just represent some exclusives, they're not just going to represent third-party publishing, but they're going to represent, for the first time, mobility. They're going to be representing cloud gaming. They're going to represent all of these things, those aspects. That's what Xbox Vision is all about. So don't be surprised when there's a section that's just going to be solely on the publishing side of things, the third-party publishing and where these games are going to go out. Don't be surprised when they're going to show only on Game Pass, when there's going to be a game that's only coming to the Xbox, when there's a game they're going to be highlighting the indie games at ID at Xbox. They're going to be doing everything around the whole spectrum of Microsoft with Xbox brand. Don't be, because there's going to be some beautiful things that are going to happen with this showcase that I think Microsoft is going to be. This is going to be the expansion showcase. You're going to be able to see it all. And I'm just matter of fact, I can see it. This isn't something that's hard to understand, people. It really isn't. It's not hard to understand. When you're a student of the game, you see it. So get ready for it. Don't think that this is, well, you can't. I mean, you can think what you want to think, right? But you can't even play this off anymore that what Microsoft is doing is working. You can't even say that it's not working. It's working. And every Xbox showcase beats the next one. These are facts. Everyone as Xbox keeps doing these showcases, more and more people show up. This is facts. This is facts. Another thing you said that was interesting, when you talked about retro gaming on Xbox, this is for everybody here. And for matter of fact, this is for everybody that comes up on Di-RRec Gaming, whether you're here now or there later. You can actually leave a comment if you're not here now. But if you haven't seen the retro gaming introduction on your Xbox, go check it out. That's a whole format in itself. And then when you open it up and you see that orb again, Resident Gamer, Spar 117 chat pack, I can't tell you the excitement I got for seeing that orb again, seeing that matrix again, seeing the classic, you're in it now, you're in. Made me feel like I'm right in Xbox again. It brought me back those OG feelings. And I loved the way it looked. And I said, man, I hope this is what it's going to feel like on the next Xbox. Because the feeling of that is Xbox. That was the thing that everybody talked about with the OG Xbox, was that introduction. And let me tell y'all something about introduction when you're trying to sell something. There's a saying in business that's called this: first impression is everything. And if Microsoft can make a first impression of that Xbox, that next Xbox, they're not going to have no problems doing everything else. I'm telling you right now. This is something different that's happening. There's a new cloud. There's a new thunderstorm on its way. And nothing is stopping it. They're in a position, they wanted to be able to have everything in line before they made their move. That explains the 10-year gap. They just didn't want to come out here half-stepping on future plans. So they made sure that all the pieces of the puzzle were going to be together before they started cannonballing away. And now they're in stride. They're in a good place. Like Matt Booty said, we're in a perfect time now to express our vision with Xbox. And you can see it. You can feel it. And right now, people, there's no need to try to deny it. If you're an Xbox fan, this is probably the best time to ever be one. This is probably the best time to ever be one. Yes, sir, Smitty Smith, salute. Yes, sir, he was cooking. Yeah, he was, famo. Everybody take care. Y'all have a sense that the show is ending. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out with us today. We wanted to do this for y'all. As usual, we want to come up and build. That dumb stuff doesn't work with us. We know what this is all about. We know what this is all about, Xbox community, man. Just stand up and do what you do. That Game Pass is going to get you through the hump. That's going to get you through the hump. You don't have nothing to worry about. See, you supported your service. It's the services is where the money is at, the content and the services. You did that, Xbox community. And you've been out here spreading the word. That's why an 8% increase has occurred. Nobody is talking about PlayStation. That's why it's not growing. Nintendo has done an exceptional job this generation. It's on the decline naturally. Naturally, it's on the decline. But for Xbox, for the one that gets mocked every day, the one that gets ridiculed and clowned every day, but the one that's changing the landscape every day, just grew 8%. And upon that, we're getting off this show. I go by the name of the new legal. I got the Mighty Resident Gamer Zero with me. The legendary Halo Spark 117 with me. I got the Mighty Chat Pat in the building with me. And I can't go wrong. I can't go wrong because of that. If you're new to the channel and you're an Xbox fan, you are right at home. Subscribe to the channel. Kick your feet up. Grab your popcorn. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat with us. If you are a member, we give you double salute. Double salute. We got nothing but love for our members that continue to help this channel flourish. Thanks to all the members of Di-RRec Gaming. I appreciate y'all. Thanks to Spotty King, who told me, legal, make a membership so I can get in and become a member. I want to become a member. So he made me do my work. Shout outs to him, because I'll never forget that. To the Mighty Chat Pack, to the ones that's been here since day one, and to the ones who's been here in the halfway betweens, when it was just me and the general, To all the way up until now, where it's the realest one, Spawn 117 and Resident Gamer on, to everybody that stuck around with me way before this, when we was way over on Mixer, shout outs to you. It's because of y'all that we're still here. It ain't because of me. It's not because of the panel. It's because of y'all. We are still here. We're grateful to have each and every last one of y'all, day in and day out. Y'all already know. I say it all the time. Y'all already know the ritual. Keep it gaming, people. Always keep it gaming. Don't let nobody come around here in these gaming streets and take your chain. Don't be walking around here tucking your chain, man, for nobody. Obtain your extra man, and hold that, because everybody in life deserves an extra man. Everybody deserves a second chance. Period. It feels good to get that extra man in gaming, man. And you keep on gaming. The extra man just tells you, keep gaming, man. Keep going. Everybody, keep going. It feels good. Resident Gamer, let them know where they can find you at, brother.
You can find me at Desert Gamer on Twitter or right here on Di-RRec Gaming.
Spark 117, let them know where they can find you at, brother.
Y'all already know, right here on Di-RRec Gaming.
Y'all, this is the new legal representing Di-RRec Gaming. Listen, major shout outs to the Xbox community, where we keep gaming to the streets and bring streets back to gaming. Y'all always remember that. Don't ever lose sight on that. God bless y'all. Y'all know we're like right around the block. Subscribe to the channel. Feel free. Hit the notification bell. Smash that like button. Shatter your keyboards. Do whatever you can do. Do whatever you want to do. Leave some comments below. Do whatever you feel. In the meantime, we're going to keep on gaming. We're going to keep on saluting the Xbox community. And we're going to keep on doing what we do. Yo, to Smitty Smith, I appreciate you, man, for the Book of X. I appreciate everybody that came through. We out of here. Peace.